Unfortunately, the DAC, the DAC digital analog converter, is defect on the Sony CD player. In this circuit we have here on this PCB board, on the downside we have this CXD2552Q in a QFPGA package converter. I measured that the inputs are running well, but the problem is that no audio is coming out on both channels, on left and on the right channel. The operation amplifiers, I think, are okay. I cannot measure it. Maybe I can make a cut. I ordered one new one for 16 euros in Hong Kong. And the item cost like 10 euros and postage cost 6 euros. The postal service is not so extremely expensive, but it's okay. I hope so I get it, and then we change it with the hot air gun. Now we would like to measure the digital analog converter. For your information, this is a plexiglass acrylic glass from my laser cutting machine, and I put it under the motherboard. Did you have no short circuits on this side from the metal? Now we measure it. First we measure the data. You can see in the picture is one data channel from the left or from the right channel. Here you have the second data channel. They came in through the digital analog converter, and important thing is the clock. You can see the clock here. But out came nothing. You see here a little bit burst, a little bursty. This is unclear where it comes from, maybe from my wrong measurement. And on the other channel the same thing, but no audio signal. That means it could be the power supply. But you heard here noise on the power supply. It's always reversed, but okay. Last but not least, you have that in an audio signal on your output, if you have that on the VCC or VDD. So in this case we measure the temperature from the digital analog converter. I'm very sorry, the pointer is 60 degrees Celsius and more. 62, 64. Last time I measured 70 degrees Celsius. Maybe our other chip is defect too. You can see. I hope so you can see this. It's very, I'm too shaky. 60, not 60. 60. Further, I would like to tell you, to this CD player we must reinstall or uninstall the DAC. And this IC integrated circuit is here on the motherboard. I use a hot air. Looks like this machine. And with this hot air we can desolder by hot air with this one the chip, and that we would like to gonna do. First of all, we would like to align the temperature for this reworking tool, and smoke absorber on, and SMD rework must be on. My machine is in temperature in Celsius, and we said it should be 400. 420 is good for Austria. If you use also hot air, beware that no that nothing stands between your hot air out and this head. So we resoldered the chipset. Here's the hot air gun. You can see it. I take this. I hope so you can see it. What I'm gonna do, I'm going around and bring in the heat. It's dangerous. You must switch off the radio. I'm traveling around the corner. I think it's glued. Chip is gone. You can see it. The chip is out. Here we have the chip. So now we going to the unsolder this because it's not beautiful from the hot air. We make it clean. We clean now the solder points. Look here. We must clean up this first because so here's the point number 1, and now we must solder it on. I show you how I do this. I take a chip, So we must know, here is the point, and here we have the position, the correct position. Must bring it in the correct position. You can see it's not so easy to do this, but we must bring it on one point in the correct position. Oh, it's not so, it's not good. Not good. Not good, not good, not good. How we can fix this? Houston, we have a problem. Now it's a little bit correcter. So we have it now in a good position. So we fix it, and now we can solder it. It's no problem. We solder it with a lot of thin so you can see this, a solder without a flux. If you have too much, you go over with the iron, with the hot iron, the solder iron, and you got it. You can see here you must solder it with a lot of solder. And then you give it away with the hot iron. All pins must be soldered in a good quality. It's a big soldering iron. If you have a shock like this, no problem. I understand all people think you must solder this with a small soldering iron, but it's not true. You must have a very hot iron, 450 degrees Celsius, then you can solder in this. If not, you are fail. You have no connection and no contact. The industry solder with a 500 degrees Celsius, 480, 500 in a special hot but short time like this. For that reason is to resolder the board completely. Some are coated, some things are cold here from the operation amplifier. I think so. Have a shorten from the electrolytic capacity. We must change the we must recap this. Adrian from the Digital Basement says this, recapping. It's a cool word. So, also these transistors, I would like to build out the Q401 and the Q501. It's not good to have this inside this machine. We must remember this machine is from 1989. That means it's a 30-year-old machine. For this reason, it's not so bad. Not so bad. It is not so bad. On this screen you can see here the Q501 up and the Q401 on the output of the left and the right line out fixed. So we would like to check up that these important transistors are defect or the relay contacts are not switching. So we would like to open up this motherboard and having a closer look to it. Well, one problem is here was someone inside don't fix the screws. They do not install it again. They only put it in and leave it. Normally the motherboard must be mounted on a lot of screws here, but these are not here anymore. They're stolen. So we hope so that no parts are missing on the motherboard. This chip will become a very high temperature, over 67 Celsius. I measured. Data signal is going in, but nothing is come out. And this is a real problem for this Sony chip. So I show you. I hope so. I can show you this. Here is the temperature range. 60 degrees Celsius, 50, 60, oh I measured wrong. $50, 60, new 60, 65 degrees Celsius on the chip. And more, it's too much. On the Q601, this makes it possible to have on this chip 5 volt. We have the problem that we have 12 volts, so the new CXT2552 is burning. I mean, I hope so it can forgive me that. And here came the 12 volts. 602, 601. And the 601 is definitive defect. We have here, I hope so you can see this, 0.2 ohms between the base and the, I think maybe this diode is defect. Oh, the diode don't have this problem. Okay, we change it. So, the point is that the Q602 is supplied over this base over this Z diode D603, and this Z diode should have 5.1 volts, but it was interrupted. So the voltage goes up here through the base, and this transistor cannot regulate it back. These 11.9 volts are coming through the emitter and goes in my digital analog converter and grills the IC601. Now it's defect, and my expensive converter cannot be solved my issue. This is the issue from the power supply. I fix it now and would like to show you that we bring it to run with the second IC601 what I get from Hong Kong. What went wrong? Exactly. You can see here this is a 5-volt stabilizer. Because the diode was so defect, it was interrupted, and we cannot have the correct voltage for the DAC. Maybe also the old DAC is working, but on a 5.2 volt of this DAC, it's not good to have 12 volts. So now a stabilizer is here, but I think it's not correct. That means the power supply of the DAC is in a solution over a constant current source with an N-FET transistor and a Z diode with a 5.1 volts. So the thing is that we have now a regulator. So the amplification on the bass, the standard, I hope so the regulator don't have so much noise, because regulators have a very loud noise on the regulation feedback. Now we must have a watch and audio, or we must rebuild it with a Z diode, because I don't have a Z diode with a 5.1 volts. The last Z diode what I have, it was in the 80s or so, or in the 90s during a repair TV or radio sets. And now the CD player works. You can see it also interest wise. The one audio signal from this pin have a other DC level than the other, and maybe a little bit distortion more. But Sigland oscilloscopes for 403 euros are not so perfect like this. But what shall I do? It's happened. Fingers crossed the DAC is working. On the bench we finished all this stuff. Sound came out and wonderful. It's so great. I like it. I love it. I love this CD player. This is the Sony CD-Player CDP X33ES. So we insert a disc. This disc will be initialized here. You can see that very fast.